The Chicago Bulls are 4-6, which right now has them at the 7th spot in the East. To be fair, teams 6 through 9 are all 4-6 right now, so it's kind of a shit show. And a lot of people think that Milwaukee and Philadelphia are currently in the 13-14 spot in the East. A lot of people think they're going to figure it out and they're going to get in the playoff discussion. So the Chicago Bulls, they might be the 7th seed right now. It might be a little bit of fool's gold. The last couple games have been a little bit rough, but that does raise the question, what are we going to do with Zach Lavine and Nikola Vucevic? So I'm not going to be shocked at all if come February the Chicago Bulls are in that 8 or 9 spot and they decide to hold tight on them, because that's what we've seen them do time and time again. We've seen them do that 3 trade deadlines in a row now because they value making the play-in tournament. They value having a shot at the playoffs. Jerry values that extra money. So if they don't get traded, I'm not going to be shocked. But let's say that they do get traded. Which one has more trade value, Zach Lavine or Nikola Vucevic? A lot of people are going to say Nikola Vucevic because he has a lower salary. He's playing fantastic this year. He's been the Bulls' best player this year. And Zach Lavine's salary is still very high. It's still very hard to trade. I think Zach Lavine has way more value to a potential contender than Nikola Vucevic. I love the way Vuce is playing this year. I've been a Vuce hater for years. He's shut me up. He's playing fantastic this year. But when you watch him play, it's still really hard to see him as a starting center on an actual contender, as a starting center on a team that has hopes of getting to the conference finals or even further. I just can't see it. His offensive numbers have been great. His defense is still a train wreck. Every center, Clint Capella last night, Rudy Gobert the night before, every center that this guy faces is getting 20-10 numbers. Every center that he's facing is eating. Every team that we're facing, they're eating at the rim. And you could say it's not Vuce's fault that guys are cutting back door and guys are getting easy layups and you can make whatever excuse you want, but the fact is he offers zero rim protection. The centers are eating alive down low against him. The wings and the guards, they're getting easy layups when he's on the court. He offers no rim protection. It's really hard. I can't think of a single team in the past that had a center like that offered no rim protection. You could say Nikola Jokic is the type of center, but one, Vuce isn't going to go play with Jokic, and two, Jokic is so special on offense that he makes up for it, and he's still a much better defender than Nikola Vucevic. So it's hard to see him fitting on a true contender because with Zach Lavine, yes, he has defensive limitations, but it's much easier to hide a wing, to hide a 2-3 guy on defense. It's way easier to hide that guy than it is to hide your starting center. So if you ask me who has more trade value as of right now, I'm going to lean Nikola Vucevic. With Zach Lavine, the contract does make it harder for him to trade, but there's going to be teams like the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a prime candidate for a Zach Lavine trade if they decide to shake things up. They have some salaries they can make match. They just got to figure out how to make it in the best interest of the Bulls to make that trade, because a Michael Porter Jr. contract, that's just as bad of an asset as a Zach Lavine contract. So when it comes down to the trade value discussions, I know a lot of people are hyping up Nikola Vucevic. There's people who think we're going to get a first-round pick now for Nikola Vucevic because of the way he's playing. I'm just telling you guys, the offensive numbers are great. The defense is still a train wreck. And when teams are looking for a starting center, they're looking for a guy who can provide a little bit of presence on defense. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, who you think has more trade value going forward, and if you think we actually see a trade this year.